So, with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny out now, I thought, why not make a ranking video ranking all the Indiana Jones films? I haven't done one of these for a while, so I thought, let's do it. Indiana Jones is the perfect one to do it. I've just recently watched the other ones as well. So let's get into this ranking. Let me know your ranking down below. Which ones are your favorites? Which ones are your least favorites? Smash it down there. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And let's rank the Indiana Jones movies right now.
Looking for this all my life.
Coming in at number 5 is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, this is the newest one that's on the big screen. I'm not going to go into any spoilers for this movie because it's just currently out now. But just my general thoughts here. Look, this one is a mixed bag. It's got some stuff that I really enjoyed. Some stuff that didn't work. The CGI in this does not work at all. It looks very fake. The de-aging didn't work at all. It looked like a video game character that you're watching some sort of cut screen from. Things that I did like is the actual Dial of Destiny storyline, the adventure side of that. That worked really well for me, and the actual idea of what it can do. I love that adventure thing. What also worked for me was the villains of this. I think these are strong villains. Mads Mikkelsen is absolutely fantastic as the villain, and I enjoyed their motive. I enjoyed everything to why they're trying to do that. Obviously, Harrison Ford is great as well. But overall, look, this film for me just did not work like the other ones did. So it's unfortunate, and that's why I've got it down in number 5. Number 4 is Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, this is actually a prequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. For me, again, another mixed bag. This is one that I had great fun with certain elements of it, and other elements I didn't enjoy at all. Now, some of the ones that I did really enjoy is the horror elements. This one felt very much more horror-esque. You had those scenes in here where you had those sacrifices going on, and it really gave you that horror vibe. Now, Indy is absolutely fantastic. I love his relationship with Shorty, which is like his little right-hand man. He was awesome as well. That dynamic worked so well. They were so much fun when they were on screen. I really enjoyed that whole aspect of the film. That to me was fantastic. The music, obviously great. But on the other hand, the love interest fell very flat. The villains kind of one-dimensional, and I didn't really enjoy them as well. And what I also didn't like is this one didn't feel as indie as much as the other ones. There wasn't really this adventure sort of vibe. This was very much more of a mission. This was, oh, we met these people need our help, we're going to go do that in order to get out. So it didn't really feel like he was going on a quest to find something and uncover something. So for me, that's why I have Temple of Doom down here at number 4.
Sure, great, don't wait for me!
Number 3 is Crystal Skull. Now, I know some people really don't like the Kingdom of Crystal Skull. I know you guys don't. But for me, again, this one's another mixed bag. But the things that I like about this film, I liked a lot more than what I did in Temple of Doom. Now, there's things in here that didn't work at all. Like, some of the logical plot holes here are just insane. Like, obviously, Shia LaBeouf swinging from tree to tree to get to the thing just doesn't make any sense. There is a lot of things here that don't make any sense. This one was in 2008, so the CGI and stuff like that is quite bad, and you can notice it, the green screen and everything like that. The villains, I thought, were a bit one-dimensional as well. I was kind of like, what is their motive here? Why are they doing this? We don't really understand that much. Kate Blanchett is absolutely fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I just feel like their characters were very much one-dimensional. Some of the things I do love is I love the sci-fi element in here. I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so I love the idea around the Crystal Skull itself and how it's part of an actual skeleton of aliens. We go into that, and I really enjoyed that. I love that they brought Marion back as well and really started to give us closure to that relationship between Indy and that. Introducing Indy's son as well, seeing him become the father figure. That all worked so well for me, and I enjoyed the adventure side of this as well. I enjoyed this whole idea of them trying to discover where these crystal aliens are. I really enjoyed that. So for me, that worked on a much higher level than some of the stuff in Temple of Doom did, and some of the bad stuff didn't quite work. But overall, look, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I don't think it's as bad as some people make it out, But for me, it sits in at number 3. Number 2 is Raiders of the Lost Ark, the original Indiana Jones movie. I really enjoyed this movie on my first time watching it. I thought this was such a fun adventure movie. This is where my love for Indiana Jones began after watching it. I really enjoyed the character in here. I thought this was very much the perfect sort of 80s adventure action that you're looking for. It has that comedic element, especially with that scene where he pulls out the gun in a sword battle and just shoots him. I know Harrison Ford was sick during that day, but man, I tell you what, that just worked so much better than a long sword fight would have. It just felt right and it felt authentic. It was fantastic. The whole adventure side, discovering the Ark, the lore surrounding it, worked on so many levels for me. I loved this movie. I thought the action was fine as well. Look, you got to take it for its time period, so that's why the CGI and the green screen and everything like that, you got to take that with a grain of salt, because this is very much a lot older movie, so I'm not going to mark it down for anything like that. But look, that didn't take me out of the movie. And having the love interest with Marion, I thought Indy and Marion were fantastic. The chemistry was there. You could tell they had history. You could tell that something had happened between them and they actually cared for each other. That love interest worked on so many levels for me as well. So overall, Raiders of the Lost Ark, I really, really enjoyed. I thought it did a fantastic job introducing us into the world of Indiana Jones. Gave us this beautiful opening sequence where you fell in love with the character. You learn so much, and then you even have that awesome ending. And the villains of this movie, man, the Nazis, they were fantastic. They were the perfect villains for this movie, and it worked every level possible. So for me, coming in at number 2 is going to be Raiders of the Lost Ark. And number 1 is The Last Crusade. Now, this was the 3rd installment in the Indiana Jones franchise. This is where we see Indy's dad come in, Henry Jones, played by the late Sean Connery. And I tell you what, this movie blew me away when I watched it for the first time. I absolutely adore this film. I think this film took everything that Indiana Jones should be and is and just perfected. I really do. I feel like what they did in Raiders, they then took all that, amplified that, made that all better, and then they took the stuff that worked in Temple of Doom and added it into this movie and elevated it again. The dynamic between Indiana Jones and his father was just absolutely fantastic. That to me is the highlight of this film. That is what encapsulates you into loving this film. It makes you want to continue watching them. Sean Connery and Harrison Ford have a fantastic chemistry on screen that worked on so many levels. It is believable. Even though that they're not that far apart in age, it is still believable that these two could pass off as father and son. And that dynamic, that bickering, the banter between them two was just absolutely fantastic. There are so many emotional moments in this film as well. The adventure surrounding the Holy Grail was fantastic as well. I thought the villains were great as well. They all made sense to why they wanted the Holy Grail. The adventure itself was fantastic and a lot of fun. The action sequences were fantastic. The chase sequences were absolutely top tier. Spielberg absolutely nailed it and created a complete and utter masterpiece here with this movie of the adventure action genre. This is just a ball of fun. This movie, I would say, is near perfect adventure movie. It really is. I can't really think of any real major flaws that comes to mind when you watch this film. Obviously, it's a product of the time again, so you can't really criticize it for the visual effects because they didn't have the technology we have now. But The Last Crusade is just one of those movies that is so much fun that I feel like I could watch repeatedly and repeatedly and repeatedly. It is just so fantastic. So for me, The Last Crusade comes in at number 1. So there you have it. That is my ranking of the Indiana Jones movies. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. Where would you rank all 5 of them? Smash it down there. Smash that like button. Click subscribe. And I'll see you guys next video. Until then, stay safe and peace out.